Welcome to the Fuel Podcast, where we explore the foundations under extraordinary lives.
The Fuel Podcast is sponsored by the Christopher Schwartz team at First Choice Mortgage Advisors. NMLS ID 106583. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your mortgage, make the Christopher Schwartz team at First Choice Mortgage your first choice.
And now, here is your host, Chris Schwartz.
All right, what's up, everyone? It's your host of Fuel, Chris Schwartz, and we are here today with our guest, John Dempsey. What's going on, John?
Not much, Chris. How are you?
I'm well, man. We made it to 2020. We're here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
First
sir.
Official guest of the new year
Thank you.
on Fuel. So we're saving the best for the new year here. And John is a MAPS business coach, and he helps people. Basically, John, you probably say it better than I do. What do you do?
Yeah, so what we do is we coach businesses. I mean, that's the simplest way to say it.
I could have handled that one.
Yeah, you could. So, do you want me to give you the backstory of how what this version of business coaching is, or?
Yeah, we'll kind of dive into it in a minute, but to kind of give our listeners out there, who you are, what you do, really. So that's what John does. He coaches businesses.
Yeah.
Very simple, folks.
Yes.
So, cool. And, John and I guess we met, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years
Something
ago,
like
right?
Yeah.
And John was, we had worked together in a different capacity at that time, and just kept in touch. And now that you've kind of evolved your career, really, just wanted to talk to you because throughout the years, seeing everything that you do, and really the stuff that you're doing. Also, you have 2 little ones at home. We were just kind of talking about that offline, how wonderful they are.
Yes.
So with all this stuff, really wanted to see, and kind of we can talk, I guess, about before we get into like really what's your fuel story and kind of what fuels you. Go ahead, man. Throw it out there. Let's talk about the MAPS business coaching real quick and how you got into it.
I guess to give an understanding of that is, so we met. I was primarily in real estate. I was with Keller Williams. Keller Williams is a pretty big company who likes to in-house everything possible, right? They own their own technology. Before that movement, they own their own coaching company, right? So you're familiar with the real estate industry. Coaching is prevalent, right? Whether you're in mortgage, real estate. So it's something that it's just regular language around us, right? Just coach talk. You get to a certain level of production and it's like, hey, you need a coach, right? You need to get coached up here because we're all, from an independent contractor mindset. So Keller Williams has their own in-house coaching company called MAPS. And they, over the last 2 years, they've taken the opportunity to take the platform that they offered their own agents and kind of pivoted and are now offering it to the rest of the business world. So that was introduced to me, was it almost a year ago now, in March 2019. And, someone put it in my ear and it just, it's just something I had to do.
Yeah. So. And it's, we'll get more into this, but it's something that you and I have talked, it's kind of become, it's more natural to you than probably anything else that you've done so far in your career, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, and that's, really one of the things that you mentioned is being in, our business, or my business, I guess now, it's the mortgage business and the real estate business on the other side of that. You do kind of take it for granted because once you reach a certain level or if you surround yourself with, certain people they're at that level, you just kind of hear and get introduced to this buzz of like coaching and you need a coach and this is how you get to the next level. But for those of us that are, out there, in a different industry, these aren't resources that are readily available. So it's pretty cool how they made that pivot.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about you, John. Let's put all the coaching, let's put everything, and on the side and, really as you kind of go through this and especially, you're trying to to lift people up in their business, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to take it to the next level. So
Yeah.
you have to yourself, have something that drives you, that, kind of keeps you in line. So what's your fuel story, man? Let's hear it. What do you think?
So you guys put the question to me, was it last week officially, like, hey, I want you to think about this idea. What's your fuel story, right? So Keller Williams is big on our why, right? Why do we do things?
Yep.
So it's similar to that. So my why over the last 2 years or so has been to become the best version of myself, through helping other people become, just better versions of themselves, right? Through, I was in a recruiting role at an office and a training role. So that's where I really started to develop that mindset. But it's just something that I kind of been doing. I feel like I was someone at the office who people always just came in anyway and were like, hey,
just naturally,
what's the answer to this?
Right?
What's the answer to this?
Gravitate.
Yeah. But so I started thinking of it a little bit differently right over the last week. And I think what actually drives me is I don't know yet. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life yet.
Nice.
In that sense of like,
Nice.
I want to keep learning. I want to keep improving. I haven't found the answers out yet.
Sure.
So I just am, kind of obsessed with just learning more and more and more until there's, until I run out, right, of days or hours or minutes, whichever's left. So.
Nice. Well, hopefully, there's plenty of those left, but I've got
that's the plan, right?
Yeah, we got actually somebody else that I was speaking with just the other day sent me a cool thing. I'll share it with you. It just kind of puts like a timeline of it. I know you may have even already seen this, but I just saw this the other day, and it kind of takes the years of someone's life, and it just kind of assumes this magic age of 90, and it illustrates like, hey, here's your life in these little diamonds, and here's your life in the amount of Super Bowls you have left, or the amount of Saturdays you have left, and you it's really powerful because you're especially I'm 40, so if you're talking 90, I'm halfway, almost halfway, so it's some perspective. So as you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do and who you want to be, when you grow up, what as you're going through this evolution now with your MAPS coaching, is there anything or any experiences that you've had or that you've gone through that have kind of made you kind of this person like always wondering, looking for answers?
That's a good question. I don't know. So in terms of like the idea of 90, right? I think of it in 100. Yeah. And I just think of our life seasonally, right? So if we get 100 years, we get a spring, a summer, a fall, a winter, right? So you get 25 years. So I'll be 40 in 6 months. But if you look at it from that point of view, we're only like a little past the halfway point of summer, right? There's a ton of time. There's a ton of time. We have an entire football season left. Yeah. We haven't. Maybe we're at spring training.
Yeah.
It's summer.
Yeah.
But so, my idea is to get all 100 years at like full capacity. Have my brain functioning, have my body functioning. If it doesn't happen, I hope I don't know. Right.
Right.
That's my goal. In terms of, is there anything that actually happened that makes me want to learn? I've always asked a lot of questions. I've always just wanted to know answers. I had health issues at the age of 30, and ever since then, I've kind of been like, I feel like I have house money. So you just have to reevaluate when you're laying in a hospital bed, all cut up, open, and a bunch of different things, and those grenade things they put in you. This is not nice, but you're there by yourself, so you have a lot of time to think about what you want to do, right? So it just completely changed how I thought about things.
Yeah, and And that's something that you have a choice after that, right? Like you know, after you come out of that and you made it, it's like, okay, well, you've been given a gift, right? Like this second chance, so you got to make the most of it. And I know when, you know, we've grabbed lunch a couple of times and different things, and you've made a, you know, complete lifestyle change, right? Like you talk about, you know, the way you eat and what you put in your body and things that you do.
Yeah, I try to be mindful of it as much as possible. I just want, you know, longevity and sustainability, right? Because maybe I'll figure out what I'm supposed to do one day, right? And I'll be able to, you know, I'll be fortunate enough to be in a place to, you know, act on it, right? But those, you know, healthy lifestyle is something important to me because it's not something I could take for granted. So,
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, just before this, we were just talking about you just got back from working out, right?
Yes.
And I don't know, last time we were talking, you had a pretty lofty goal by 40. I mean, we were talking about accountability and coaching. You want to throw it out there?
Yeah. So I have. So when I turned 39, my goal was to squat 300 pounds clean. I had squatted 300 before then, but it was really like. It wasn't pretty. So I did that. And then I basically was like, what do I want to do before I turn 40 or while I'm 40? So I gave myself five things I would do.
You want to share one of those?
Yeah, sure. So the first one is squat 400 pounds. It's kind of what you're hinting at right there.
Yeah.
So I have a plan in place. I have a trainer in place. You know, we have that figured out how to do that. Not really concerned about that one. I feel like that's going to be one of the easier ones. Get back on stage. So I had a time in my life where I was on the original music scene for about 10 years. So I haven't had the opportunity to go on stage and perform. So that's something I'll be doing. I've had to learn how to play guitar over the last year to actually do this, though.
Nice.
I want to learn how to crip walk. Always wanted to know how to crip walk.
Nice.
So I've been studying up on that.
Could be a follow-up. That'll make for a nice clip.
Yeah.
So let us know when you get there.
That's YouTube is very helpful there. This one I don't know how I'm going to pull it off. I want to dunk on a regulation net. Everyone thinks I'm kind of crazy for this, but I can hit 9.3, and I'm not very tall.
Yeah, I mean, for those of this is listening to this
I'm
podcast,
5'7".
Right. Okay. Let's just put it in perspective for those people that are listening. So we're talking.
So I can hit
5'7".
9.3.
So
right now, what?
How do you, how do you explain? Because my vertical is, probably, I might be clear 2-inch vertical. So like, how do you improve that at 40?
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? So how do you do it at 40? So there's videos online of two guys that were similar heights, similar size. I think one of them was actually 5'6", where they figured out what they had to do workout wise to dunk, right? So they take you on their journey of like a year or two.
Okay.
Of like they're barely, almost there, there, and then they finally like alley-oop tip it in, and then that shows you like. After they do that, they're like windmill dunking and everything. It's just wild.
Nice. So we're gonna come back a year from now. And you're gonna see Dempsey like.
I would be happy with the alley oop tip in. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with a lot of the workout stuff that you do, the leg training and all. They were doing it much more intense. It's different. Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep hedging towards that goal.
Sure. Nice.
The fifth one is going to Iceland, and there's this thing called the Husafell stone, and you basically it's like 409 pounds, and you have to walk around this like old, I think it was like a lamb or a goat pen, and you have to carry it, and then you're a strong man.
Okay.
So yeah, that'd be cool. And I want to go to Iceland anyway. So,
yeah, I was gonna say it's not a bad deal. So awesome. Well, that's definitely you have some accountability now. You just put it out there to all of our listeners. So
I guess so.
We'll have to do the follow up, and this time next year see where you got with all that.
I'll definitely get 4 of them because we're gonna go to Iceland. I'm not gonna be able to get there before my 40th, but I'll get there during.
Nice.
So
cool. And there are a lot of physical goals, right? So it seems. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, seem to be a physical. Is that something that's more
So when you're about to be 40, there is a sense of, maybe your peak physical form. What's the window left on that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why everything was physical.
Our last Eagles hurrah of of the season, we got to see a 40-year-old quarterback, and I don't know how many times they could have possibly said, "Look at him at 40."
Yeah.
At 40, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, come on, like you're killing me here.
Well, we got Tom Brady at 42.
Yeah, true, but I think he's
different.
Different. So, but and I think he did pull a hamstring, right? Is that what the final?
What, McCown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he tore it off the bone.
Yeah, tore it off the bone. So that's what happens at 40 for most of us when we try these physical things.
Yeah, I don't.
So, but no, cool. So, just trying to think as far as I always like to, when I meet with people that are like coaching and working with other people, because that's really one of the biggest things in Fuel is we want our listeners, anybody that's watching the videos, we want them to get some fuel out of it. We want them to take away, a little nugget or something that's, really gonna make a difference. And when I'm meeting with coaches, it's really cool because as you're talking with people from all different walks of life, all different businesses, are there just for people that you see that are successful? Is there any good common thread that you see within these people that you could kind of share, like that? Disciplines, anything that comes to mind?
I think the most common thread is an answer people don't want to hear, because it's just hard work.
Yeah,
right. It just comes down to like,
do the work.
Are you going to do the work? And rarely is the work like complicated hard.
Right.
For some people, yes. Like doctors and high level scientists and astronauts, right? That's complicated stuff. But for the most part, it's not complicated. Everyone has the brain capacity to do it. They just don't have the, commitment or the discipline to do it.
Right.
Or a reason. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's real big, right? And that's like you said, within our world, it's common, to focus on your why, and we've been exposed to all that. Find your why, and but if you don't have that reason, it makes whatever it is you're trying to do, getting up and kind of trying to lift a boulder and go walk around Iceland, it's like, well, why are you doing that? Like you have to have purpose, and even little things, if you want to wake up early. I know you were part of the
5 a.m.ers,
right.
Did you do that?
I did not.
So I am now a 6 a.m.er.
Okay.
I'm doing my own group.
Yeah, right.
6 a.m.
Nice.
It's my wife and I.
But you have to have a why, right? Like they created a nice.
Totally.
Awesome. So one of the other things that we talk about here on Fuel is just really how people can kind of take action and improve their lives. So is there anything, and we'll kind of talk about at the end, maybe we'll give them a little nugget that they can reach out to you for, but if you had to just share like one thing that you could tell people, hey, just besides, hey, just we'll take the Nike, just do it, right? Like that's obviously the first. Like anything else that for somebody that's either struggling with something or looking to achieve something, looking to break through to the next level, one thing. What do you got?
Well, the one thing is always like the why, right? But past that, it's I feel that people, when they don't know why they're doing something, they're just going and doing it every day, and there's no clear sense of reason. So they get in habits that they're accidentally, right?
Right.
That's just a habitual thing, and they just do it every day because they did it yesterday. So, why do, like, how do you talk about it? We're both 40. We're seeing like friends of ours go through different phases of life, right?
Yeah.
They're totally different things. We see people who aren't here anymore, right?
Yep. Just
because they got in a place and they just kept doing it every day for no particular reason other than that's it, right?
Sure.
So I think having an awareness, again, around why, but, what it is you want to do every day. My dad is, in the next few years, he's going to retire. So, my coaching brain kicked in. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, what's your plan? Like, you can't, he's funny. He's like, I'll get caught up on sleep, which is, true, right? You got to get caught up on sleep a little bit, right?
We're part of the 9 a.m. club.
Yeah. But then you see, how many people do you see retire, then they just die within like a year to 5 years? I know that sounds dark and all.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's,
but like,
wouldn't be someone that could just sit
what
around.
are the things greater than you that you want to do or you want to work towards? Those are the things that, like, you need to have an awareness around that. You need something bigger than yourself, right? So I think that would be that would be, outside of why, that would be it.
Right. Awesome.
What are you passionate about?
Yeah. All right. So we'll definitely appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. And
I don't have a whole lot of wisdom.
That's all right. You got more than I do. So that's why you're here, man. Now we're gonna kind of get into the fun stuff. We'll hit you with a little rapid fire.
Yeah. Nice.
You claim to have listened to a few episodes, so
I have.
You may or may not know how this goes, but so you're stuck on an island.
Yes.
And we're gonna ask you who you're gonna take with you, and we're gonna give you the disclaimer so that you don't get in trouble with any family or friends, and say that
thank you.
We understand that they would obviously be your first choice. So outside of that, who are you taking with you?
Who am I taking? I guess I have two answers. If I'm trying to get off the island...
No, you can't get off the island.
I can't get off the island.
You're stuck. You're not looking for survival skills. You're there.
I'll probably take a musician with me. If I'm stuck there...
What musician? Who you got?
I always preferred Eddie Vedder, but if I'm like stuck there, I think I might go for like a Halsey right now.
Okay. Nice. All right, so we're taking Halsey.
Yes.
All right. A second one, what book? If you could only take one book that's had an impact on your life that you'd like to share with our listeners and that you'd like to take with you, what do you got?
That's wild. One book. I'm going to take I know everyone comes on here and they have like...
Dude, we've got some pretty wild answers. So
everyone's got like the self-help, or they have like a Tony Robbins book or something.
We've
like
had
that.
some, but we've had what do we have? We had the Quran was one. I mean, there's a lot of different ones. So
I'm gonna take the Complete Fellowship of the Rings by Tolkien.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna take.
Nice,
yeah.
I like it, man.
Yeah,
get outside.
Yeah.
All right,
that's what I'm gonna take.
Cool. And last, what food, what drink, what do you have to have?
It's going to be pretty tough to be a vegetarian if I'm stuck on an island, right?
Right. You could always just take I know you like that bourbon, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take a never-ending supply of Glenlivet 12.
Nice. Right.
Nothing too fancy. But
nothing too fancy,
yeah.
Just the 12, please.
Yes, just the 12.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. So for our listeners out there and for the people watching on YouTube, how can they find you? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, good question. So I have a website. It's Business Coaching with John, www.businesscoachingwithjohn.com. I have an Instagram page called Coaching with John. I share quite a bit on there. So it's at John, Coaching with John. One of the things I found that has been helpful lately is I have a private Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm part of it.
Yeah. You're a part of it. Yes.
Yeah,
so
good stuff in there.
Instead of hitting people with like 40 touches via email, which I'm sure there's when you do that, there's value in there, and there's cookie recipes and stuff like that. Sure. So I didn't want to do that. Being in real estate as long as I had been. So I share daily coaching tips on there, and it's an opportunity to introduce people who are just different walks of business, right? Whether they're small business owners, Whether they're a blue collar business owner,
Okay.
or someone like yourself who runs a completely different runs a mortgage business.
Sure.
There are people in traditional corporate roles. There are executives in that group, and it's just an opportunity for people to collaboratively learn and for me to feel like I'm sharing something, right?
Yeah, it's nice. So you can jump in. Anybody
Yeah.
can be a part of that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
look you up,
So I
connect
think
with you.
right now we're talking about The Advantage, the Patrick Lencioni book,
Okay.
which is a favorite of mine. But yeah, so you can get that. I think you can find access to that on my website.
Okay, cool.
So that's pretty easy there.
All right. And as we were talking, I was talking to Gene. For 2020, we really want to kind of see if we can add a lot more value for our listeners. So we have some awesome people on here. You've got some great tools and systems and stuff with what you're doing. Is there anything that we can do to put out there for listeners of this show that might want to take advantage of what you do? And
good question. So one of the ways for me to understand about what people do on a daily basis in their business is we do a business assessment.
Okay, and these are free things too, guys. So anybody listening, we're not gonna have you put out any money. This is the value because you're connected with us here on Fuel. So the business assessment.
Yeah, I've always approached business as a relationship as opposed to a transactional. That's one of the reasons why you and I stayed in touch to the extent we did after doing our first deal together. If you approach it transactionally, you miss out. You miss out on everything else. So yes, it's really important for me to build relationships. I'm not going to be able to coach everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And whether it doesn't pertain to their business at that point in time, or whether I'm not the best person to coach them, right?
Right.
So I'm more interested in creating the relationship with people and then just offering any advice or anything I can do to help them be better. So we do that through the business assessment. That's one of the first ways we find out what it is you need. So we'll basically go over through about 20-minute conversation. We'll go over where you're successful, where you're finding success in your business, and where your pain points are as well.
Cool.
So,
all right. So for everybody listening, hit John up. He'll make that available to you, and hopefully you can take it to the next level. And So, all right. Well, on that note, we just ask for everybody listening, if you got something out of this, make sure you share it on social. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and we're out.